Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Tonight is part 13 of the modular in build with Hirst molds. I'd like to welcome everybody to the video. I've been not gone a couple weeks, but I haven't shot any videos in a couple weeks, and if you look at these big empty rooms, I haven't made a ton of progress inside these rooms in the last couple weeks. I hurt my back last May, and so I've got a compressed disc on there that likes to sit on my nerves, and I really messed it up a couple weeks ago to the point where I could barely walk, and it was so uncomfortable to sit in the chair in my office. There was no way I was going to be able to put in any type of the hours needed to really paint through this stuff. Well, gotten through the worst of it. You know, it's just something I have to live with on there when it slams down on top of that nerve pack in my back, but it's kind of loosened up now. I'm moving around a whole lot better. You know, work's going fine. Moving around here is going fine. So I think I'm ready to hop back into saddle and get going. So instead of just blowing everybody off and saying, hey, you know, this is what we got, see you in 2 weeks, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what we have. And then I figured, you know, I got time to kill because I did start painting some of the accessories, and there's going to be no way I'm going to be able to put that camera on top of my hands painting those little teeny bottles and stuff like that. So what I figured I'd do, I'd give you a tour of my office. I'll give you a tour of where I do my casting at inside the house, and we'll talk a little bit about some stuff that's going to come up. So you're going to get your update on what I've done up until the point where I hurt my back, and then what I'm going to start working on. And kind of what I've done is just a little general layout here inside the inn. So right up here, let me get a pointer. Right here is going to be the entrance for this layout. So this is the door right here where you would come into the inn. And so if you look right here, this is our guy we've been using the whole time. He's standing right in the middle of the hallway. I put the hallways double wide in this layout. Now this layout that I'm looking at here doesn't exist on Bruce's site. And if you look at the drawings of some of the stuff he's got at the end, I can't quite replicate what he has, but that's all right because I found I'm going to need to cast a few more floor blocks because I am short on floor tiles here. I've got the amount that they said in the instructions to make, but this layout right here, this whole hallway is empty right back in here. This, I have nothing but my green mat down on the bottom. So what I need to do is I've got some more of these ready to go that I'm just going to paint up. That way I got some extra blocks to put down, and I can kind of spread it out a little bit. I do like how it's coming together. If you do look back here, you'll see I've got the stairs that are leading up to a second level, and that's where I put the 2 bedrooms, was right up here. I'm going to see if I can zoom in at all on that. So if you look right up there, those are those 2 bedrooms we've been going with for the last few videos. And you'll see the stairs that come down, and then we've got the booths that we did right there. And then basically, you know, we've got the kitchen in the back. I'm going to try and unzoom it. There we go. We've got the kitchen back here with the hole in the floor, and all I did is stick the basement off to the side over here. So if you see where my red stick is, and I had nowhere else to stick that other set of stairs. That's this set right here. So I just took them and stuck them in the basement. But as a matter of fact, I think the last time we talked, I didn't have any of this stuff painted. So this did come out, and these came out really nice when they're painted up. So it's got a nice little highlight on the stair. The balcony up here. This piece right here, we painted that up, and we did this 3-sectional stair right here. And granted, I don't have everything perfectly put together on this because I wasn't sure if I was going to be shooting a video tonight, and I still got to take it apart and paint other pieces on it. So, but basically, you know, you've got the kitchen back there, and then we're going to have a grand room right here, and then we've got a door that I don't know what's going to become of this room here. This may be an office, you know, or something like that. And then back here, you can see over on this corner, that's where that hobbit room is. Well, I'm going to put a bunch of chests in there and stuff like that, and that's where that's going to be more of a safe room. So I may end up turning this piece facing in so that matter of fact, I think that looks pretty good because now that hobbit door is facing here, and then over in this opening that's way over here, I'm going to put a something in there to block it. So if you do this project, here's some tips. Make more of these than the plans call for. You're going to want plenty of end blockers, your front door, and I'm going to put a door into that. You've got some more step blocks that'll go at the end. And you may even want to make some extra pillars. The pillars right now are back underneath the those elevated rooms up there. So what that is, the pillars are just sitting under there, and the balcony is just kind of sitting here on the edge. So you'll see there's 4 of the pillars, so I can lift that right off and then just set it back down. The reason the stair moves is because I have nothing underneath that part of the stair. So like I said, I've got it all just kind of thrown here on the table real quick just to show you what was going on. And so I've got lots of these pulled aside. Right here we got their chests. We've got beds, and here we go, trying to get stuff on camera again. We have the wooden door. Any of these arch doors, they will fit. They'll go up in here, and they'll fit inside the openings like this. We have another type of door that I have no idea where I put it. I have some of these also that we can put right down here, and those will look pretty good. And I need to cancel something off my laptop screen here because now it's lagging. So hopefully that's not all coming through. But we'll keep on going. Let me put my hand here. Okay, that is showing. All right. So that is where we're at with the end. So I'm going to start painting again. I'll paint through this weekend. I'll paint into next week. I definitely should have it done by not this coming up weekend, but the following weekend. Should definitely have this project done. So we'll have everything painted. We'll have it all accessorized, and I'll give you one final look. I'll try to do a couple different builds with it. I might take it out onto the pool table where we game, because I'm trying a new wireless headset tonight, so I can move around a little bit. I did test it going all the way to the back of the house, and it seemed to work fine. So hopefully the audio quality is okay on this headset, because normally I just use my mic on a mic stand when I'm just sitting here at my desk. But being I need to move around a little bit, because I'm going to take a handy cam, and then we're going to go over the rest of this. So what I'm going to do is grab that other camera, give you a tour of the office real quick, and then we'll move back to the, I call it the maker space here in the house. My wife just shakes her head when I call it that, but that's what it's turning into. I'll show you where I cast, and then we'll call it a night. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Okay, what I've got here, I've got my old handy cam going, so I'm going to apologize right up front in case I get all crazy with my hands and how I'm showing stuff with it. 18 years in New York makes me a pretty passionate talker with my hands. So even when I talk in the mic, my left hand is always moving. So I'm going to try not to do it too much, but if it does bounce around a little bit, I apologize. This camera's not on a tripod, it's in my hand, so we can move around. All right, so what I'm showing you right here, this is the what we were just filming, and so this is where you can kind of get a look at how the stairs look. We've got our bad guy right in the middle. He's been there this whole project. No reason to get rid of him yet. And so, not this weekend, but like I said, next weekend we'll get this thing all laid out. So, but now just gonna kind of go over. I do the Hirst art stuff. I love RPGs. I love War Machine. I love miniature games. I love board games. Buddy of mine that's down in Tampa, he's a press ganger for Privateer Press down in Tampa, like me and a couple of my friends are up here in Pensacola. He came over one day. Now, I was big on video games. I was a Dark Age of Camelot fanatic on there. I was in it on beta. We played all the time. All the guys played at work, which if you're playing an MMO and you're working with people that are all playing with you in the guild, that's a pretty good time. Well, he came over one day and brought a game of HeroScape with him. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll sit down and play. So HeroScape has a basic and an advanced side. We set up a thing on the table, and we played. And it was simple. And I had a ball. And pushing some minis around the table. It was it was a card set, it was available. It was like fish on. I went down to Toys R Us, Started buying the pieces, started buying the parts. Found a convention over in Mississippi that we could go to, and they had an official HeroScape tournament going on. Found the HeroScapers website, which was like a dream come true. And if you don't know about the HeroScapers website or HeroScape, Plaid Hat Games, Colby, he founded that website also. So the guy at Plaid Hat Games, if you haven't played any of their stuff, it is fantastic. He's a fantastic guy. He's got a great podcast out. He's good to listen to, but he was right at the forefront of the whole HeroScape movement. So, you know, you always count your HeroScape collections by number of master sets you have. So I was probably an 8 to 10 master set person, used to set up huge maps, had a great time. Well, one thing led to another, and like everybody else, if you find your way to one of these conventions, eventually you stumble across the website Board Game Geek on there. And so I had never seen anything like that in my life. And so then we hit Board Game Geek, and then all of a sudden we start hitting bookshelves of games. And now granted, this is back in 2007. This is where it all started. So my top of my shelves, there's Descent, Tide of Iron, Conquest of Narath, Rune Wars, the new Pathfinder card game, the new Undercity game for Privateer Press, the latest Temple of Elemental Evils up there. You know, and so it's been one game after another. Now, if you look at my shelves, you see I'm going to favor two publishers quite a bit. The first one is GMT. I try to buy tons of stuff GMT produces. One is because almost every game they make an online component for it called Modular for Vassal. And if you've never played on Vassal, it's vassalengine.org. It's open source. It doesn't cost you anything. And what it does is games like Combat Commander. Yeah, you may not be able to find a guy that wants to sit down and play a World War II hex and counter game anymore. But on Vassal, you can find those people. You can set that up on Board Game Geek, get on Vassal, and next thing you know, you're in a game, you're in a league, you're in a tournament. That Commands and Colors Ancients, that game is off the chain fantastic. And they have huge tournaments on Vassal with that game. You know, and so the general rule is that one of you should own a copy of the game. But it also gives you a chance to try out the game before you want to buy it. So I like supporting companies that support Vassal, that support an open play, and things like that. Fantasy Flight, I was born in '69, so I saw Star Wars in the theater. I'm a child of the 80s. I love the hair bands. I love the metal music, you know, Metallica, Queensryche, all those bands. Back then it was TSR. Today it's FFG, and FFG owns my wallet. They really do. I'm a fan, you know, I'm a fantasy guy first, and there's a ton of fantasy on my shelf. Yeah. From role-play systems to LCGs to board games. If it's an 8-hour dungeon crawl, I'm in. You know, if it's a 2-hour dungeon crawl, I'm in. I'm a huge fan of Battle Lore. You know, I do have all the Mark 1 stuff. I just recently got a copy of Mark 2 right here. I do pick up the Pathfinder miniatures, the little iconic heroes and stuff like that. Up here on top, all that foam, this is all battle foam for War Machine, the large figures. So that's like a Storm Strider in there. So that's one of the larger figs on there. So, and then, you know, so that's 4 shelves full of board games. I kind of need to readjust some stuff on there because my RPG shelves, the boxes are too big, and so I'm losing a lot of space on a shelf when I can fit some of these smaller boxes in that space. But over here is the hobby table. This is my setup when I'm recording normally. So I got my laptop right here. This is the new wireless mic that I'm talking on right now. And then that's a Behringer mixer. It's a 12-channel mixer that I mix into. It's a little overkill for just me talking, but it does. If we're recording War Machine videos or something like that, I can put 4 channels in there. I've got it, you know, future-proofing for a podcast that we've talked about doing and stuff like that. I do paint in my office. This is my airbrush booth. This used to be in the center of my table until this project overtook my table. So if you can see, I can I can airbrush right here in the office. So I have a bunch of trolls that I've primed up. This is for a Calandra's tier list for anybody that plays War Machine to know what that is. My compressor's right there. My airbrushes are right there. I told you I like paint. Built this shelf. That's the Minotaur line of paint, and then below it's the Army Painter line of paint. Both, you know, the Minotaur I don't have to thin at all. It works right out of the bottle. The Army Painter paint thins really well and sprays really well through an airbrush. So I keep that pretty handy. If you've ever used the Vallejo alcohol metallics, they are fantastic, but they are right there. And then, why I have to get in my office is that I have War Machine boxes everywhere of stuff I need to build. Everything underneath this table right here is War Machine waiting to be built. So, yeah, I got a lot of building to do. I just ordered some foam today because those buckets over there, those two buckets, one's Mercenaries, the other's Signar. So those are my two smaller buckets. I have Khador and Trolls also for those that play. My RPG shelves, I need to make an apology video someday to Paizo because I looked right past Pathfinder. You know, I played a little bit of 3.5. I enjoyed 4th edition when we played, but that's because I was a tournament miniatures player, D&D miniatures player. So I always had minis. We were always doing stuff. So I have lots of 4th edition books. You know, all the War Machine books are up here. The War Machine RPG books are down here, plus the starter sets for the Star Wars stuff. I don't get to play as much as I want, but what I do is I read these books like they're a regular book. I enjoy the setting. I enjoy, these adventure paths over here. These things are so good. Let me see if I can focus in there a little bit. Yeah, maybe not. But those adventure paths are so good. I started picking up the spell card sets. I do have all the 5th edition stuff. We do play 5th edition. I play a one-on-one game with a friend of mine. He's the DM. I'm running a character with an NPC attached to myself right now. Works out pretty good, It's a little different, but it works out good. I don't know why this never caught on. The 3rd edition for Warhammer Fantasy. The setting was so good. And the dice mechanics, maybe a little ahead of their time. But people just revolted over the dice mechanic when those similar dice mechanics are showing up all over the place in between Age of the Empire and, Star Wars and Armada. And, they have, different type of dice. Not everything has to be a D6 or a D20, but I like the dice that's into 3rd edition fantasy because it told the story every time you did it, Started playing X-Wing again. Got my Tannin 4 up here on the top. Got some 48th scale tank kits up here that I'm going to build someday. So this is the office. This is where I spend most of my time. I play the board games. If you ever want to play something on Vassal, let me know. If you want to play Combat Commander or Commands and Colors, Ancients, love playing those games. So let me pause this for a second. I'm going to move back onto the makerspace, and I'll be right back. All right, so now I'm walking into what I call the makerspace. This is also my daughter's old bedroom. Got a lot of extra room in the house right now. I've got one daughter over at Florida State. The other one's graduated college, and she's moved across the state. She's got a new job over there. So when she moved out, I took over the room. So basically what we have here, this is where I sit and cast. I don't use any plastic. I don't need any plastic on the floor. I still use these trays. These are the same trays, so all my mess is contained right into there. Once the stuff hardens up, I tap it with the scraper, and I pour it right into the garbage can. So it's all dried up. It flakes off. Keep the wet water right there. This right here, I'm going to do a review on this stuff, but this is Hydro Smooth by Valcon. Or Vacalon, Vacalon. So go to their website. I have given up on Almors for the sheer fact I'm sick of getting tired of ripped off every time they try to ship me a bottle. I'm not going to pay $29 for a bottle and $15 or $16 to ship it. Got a 32-ounce bottle. This was a 16-ounce, 12-ounce. bottle that was full, and then an empty one just like that for $33 free shipping. And this stuff works phenomenal. As good as Almore's or better. And the spray bottles are better. I'll tell you that right now. This spray bottle that they give you with it is fantastic for getting that nice fine mist inside the molds. Speaking of molds, there's some molds I've been casting recently. These are some new molds I just got in off the somebody was getting out of the hobby on the Facebook Hirst Starts page, so I picked up a few of his because you can never have too many fieldstone molds. That whole box right there is full. I think I'm at 59 molds right now. And then this. I got this a little while ago, and this thing is awesome. Got it off Amazon. It's got a ton of compartments on it. And the best thing, I got it for a Prime only deal that was $100. I think it's back up to $159 right now, or somewhere between $125 and $159. But this thing, it's on wheels. If I want, take it on wheels. If I need to grab some parts, here they are right here. I can just take them right off the shelf. If you look down, I put the labels in the front. That'll sit there right in the front. So there's all this fieldstone and stuff like that. There's the steel bridge mold and things. And the best thing about this, it's double-sided. So I've got a ton of space to store and organize. Because I'm telling you, I don't know how some guys do it, but I see blocks from one end of somebody's video to the other end of somebody's video, and it's a big enough deal just trying to find. That's my dog barking in the background over something. It's a hard enough time finding just the pieces you want that are in that one container, let alone if that container's thrown all over your desk. So I come in here, I've been able to cast. I've got 3 or 4 fieldstone molds now, so I can crank out fieldstone blocks like there's no tomorrow. And we're talking just the straight blocks, not anything crazy like ruined fieldstone, but just, I think, 2 of the 701s, and then, what is this one here? 2 of the 70s now, so that's a 70 right there. And then these are the 701s. So you can just pump out fieldstone. Up here on the top, let me try and make sure. Let me do it this way. These are all new molds that I need to do demoldings on. So I've already poured the plaster in here. The plaster is already set up. These dark blue molds in the back, this is by a girl named Michelle. She's part of the Fans of Hirst Arts Facebook group. This girl's got some crazy talent when it comes to making these molds. And so these are the Rags to Riches mold, and this is a skull mold over here. But these are Rags to Riches, so these are bears. And so I'm going to do demolding videos on all these molds. Because when I finish the inn, I think I'm going to take not a break, but I'm not going to start a brand new project right off the bat, rolling right into Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So, up to the holidays, this is what's going to fill up some of the channel stuff, and we can talk about some other stuff. And then over here is the dehydrator. This is what I use. I fill this thing up. I can run it for about 3-4 hours, and the blocks are done. I just put them in the organizer over there. And then what this is for, this is if I take, let's say that ruined fieldstone, if I take the container out of here, and then I can sort them into this. And then, so if I'm building something, I can sort one of the big bins into the smaller, and then use it on my desk in my room. Because I still do the assembly in my office and stuff. And then this space right here, the big thing I'm going to add, and I'm going to see if I can get one on Black Friday, but I won't be able to take it out of the box till at least Christmas, is I'm going to get a 3D printer. And we're going to print 3D Dungeon Terrain in addition to casting 3D Dungeon Terrain. So you'll get to see the trials and tribulations of that. I just did the, I think it's Fat Dragon. They did a Kickstarter where they're going to do the STL files. So you can print your own 3D Dungeon Terrain, and it should sync up pretty good with this. It looks really well. So that's going to be nice. So you're going to get to experience that. you know, because 3D printing is not plug and play by any means. I am trying, and the hardest part is trying to figure out which printer you want. I think I've got it down to the Maker Gear M2, the Lulzbot Taz 5, and the FlashForge Creator Pro is where I'm sitting right now. If any of you guys on the channel have a 3D printer, and especially if you have one of those 3D printers, I'd like to share a couple emails back and forth just to get some real print sample qualities, especially from that Maker Gear M2. That thing gets such good ratings. You know, it on all the top 10s you see, it's just such good ratings. It's a little on the higher side. You know, I'm working within about a $2,000 budget on there, so it's sitting up at the top end on there. But it's just got fantastic ratings. And then the Lulzbot, yeah, the Maker Gear M2 is made here in the U.S. The Lulzbot Taz 5 is made here in the U.S. 30-day money-back guarantee, 1-year support plan, and you can buy additional. That's the biggest thing I've seen when researching these printers. Your support is, the support that company provides is as critical as the printer itself. You can have a great printer and you blow a board in there and you can't get a new board, you're screwed. I mean, there's not really anything you can do, you know. And the FlashForge Creator Pro is a Chinese 3D printer, but it's sold. There's a U.S. distributor, and they get really good reviews on Amazon. The guy that takes care of the FlashForge people on Amazon is really good and really quick. I need something with a big build volume. I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to spend that kind of money and have a 5-inch build plate. You know, I want something bigger. You know, the Taz 5 is almost 12-inch square. The Maker Gear M2 is pretty big also. It's almost 10 inches. But I don't know. We'll see. So you'll get to see that as part of this channel too. But we're going to be casting Hirst starts. We're going to be printing 3D dungeon terrain and stuff like that. And hopefully, if it goes pretty well, that's some stuff I'd like to give away. I know that I can't ship the Hirst start stuff. You know, I know Bruce has, I don't want to say I can't ship. Finished pieces, you really, you know, it's such a risk to ship on there. But if I can take a 3D printer, I can print some terrain. I can print it in, that's the one thing that's nice about the Lulzbot. I can print with HIPS, which is your, I think it's your high impact polystyrene, but it's polystyrene. So stuff is light. You can throw it in a box. You can print it. You can paint it. You know, and if I can get that done and get a nice set, I'd like to give that away as a subscriber thing. So stick around, subscribe if you want to see that coming. Over the Christmas holidays, I do get a few weeks off. It's going to be nice. I'll set it up. I'll see. You'll see me bang my head against the wall because it's going to happen. Because, you know, it's like tinkering with a car. You know, every filament's different. Every printer's different. The humidity, the temperature, everything else that goes on in this room affects how those printers print. So really looking forward to that. You know, kind of branch the channel out a little bit. I think it's a good way to go. It keeps my original people here. It keeps us in the same vein. I'm not jetting off on some crazy tangent, you know, for projects wise, but it's about fantasy. It's about dungeon terrain. It's about making some terrain for wargaming tables and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to move back to my office. I'll be right back. All right, we're back in the office. You know, I'd just like to thank you guys for sticking in there. I know I've been gone a couple weeks. My back just blew up on me. There's no way I was going to be able to sit in this chair in my office and paint. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out, getting a chance to show you the office. I know it's a wreck right now, but it gives you a little idea of stuff that I like. I do like the RPGs. I like the World War II Hex and Counter games. I love anything fantasy, all the RPG stuff. You know, so, and it was nice to be able to show you back where I do make the stuff. I will do some, when I start casting again, actually how I cast, because I know I did it 3 years ago, and I'll give you a little 3-year update. But, oh, this is that Hydro Smooth stuff. This is the 32-ounce bottle. That's the web address right there, vacalon.com. And their phone number is 800-729-8192. I've been using this stuff, and I'll maybe try to do a video on this too, who knows. But this stuff is money. Free shipping. It just works. I don't use it. You didn't see a shake table back there, did you? I don't use a shake table for any mold I own. I may take the tray and give it a little, you know, a half an inch shake back and forth. I don't use a vibration table anymore. Nothing. Not on a single mold I own. And that's, before, was attributed to the Almors. I'm getting as good a result, if not better, with this stuff right here. This stuff was made for plaster dental, and you don't need a license, and it's free shipping, and it's great, and it's free shipping. I'm not paying $17 for your shipping anymore, Almors. Thank you. So back to this. So about 2 weeks. Yeah, not this Friday, but maybe next Friday or Saturday, this should be done. I should have all the pieces laid out into it. It's been a great project. I mean, we're 13 videos in. We started in July. I think it was July. So we moved along good. I've stalled, you know, outside of my back getting hurt. It's one of those, oh, you're right there by the finish line, and why am I slowing down? I have no idea. You know, but when you do look, when you do have a pile of these in front of you, and then the pieces, and this is the biggest piece that you have, and they all get smaller from there, you got to get the mindset down that you're going to paint this stuff, you know. So I'm back. I can sit in this chair pretty comfortably now. It's been nice to be able to talk back into the mic again. Again, this is a new wireless setup that I've got, so hopefully this all worked out pretty good, because I do like being able to walk around. And if I do set this up on the table and I do record a play session, it'll all be done wireless. And so I know the range is good on this because I tested it before I recorded. I can reach anywhere in the house and the quality doesn't break up on the mic. You know, and so I've got a couple mics, so even if I have another player, you know, as we're out there doing stuff, it frees up both of your hands. I can talk into this, and so I like this going forward. You know, for things that I need both my hands. If it's just a show and tell, you know, I've got my normal desk mic that you saw on there, and that's not that big a deal. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching the video. I'm glad if you're still here at the end of this video, thanks on there. I know it's a long video. I start rambling, and I can talk forever. You know, but I just wanted to give you an update on where we were, what was going on with me, a little bit in the office, a little bit in the makerspace, and a little bit about what's coming up down the road. So I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I'll keep pumping these videos out for you guys, and I like doing them for me also. And, you know, you have a good night. Any new subscribers that have subscribed, thank you very much. You guys that have been here for a while, thank you very much. And hopefully when we get that 3D printing set up, we can get a little small dungeon printed out. I'd love to give that away to one of my subscribers. So, again, have a good night. I'll see you in a little bit with another update on this. And then I'm looking forward to moving forward onto our next projects and some of the smaller stuff up until the holidays. You know, moving on to some small stuff up to the holidays, and then jumping into our next project. So, have a good night. Thanks very much, and this is Greg signing off.